When you think about great chess games played by great grandmasters, you think of many great players and many great games. But I think always about the one game, and the game is literally known as the game of the century between Bobby Fischer and Donald Byrne in 1956. This game is probably the greatest chess game that was ever played in the 20th century, and it has the potential to be the greatest. In this game, the Bobby Fischer at the age of 13 plays 3 brilliant moves, and out of nowhere destroys international master Donald Byrne, which is American professor. Bobby Fischer doesn't even have a Grandmaster title at that point. He became Grandmaster at the age of 15, but we're gonna give him Grandmaster title here. Let's begin and see how 30-year-old Bobby Fischer can now destroy many of the greatest American players. Let's begin. Knight f3 by Byrne. Very standard ready opening. Knight comes to f6, pawn goes to c4, pawn goes to g6, and now after this move we get the normal variation of the King's Indian. But the openings can change depending on what Fischer plays. Castles, bishop c4. This is why endgames are openings are a bit complicated, because now this is King's Indian, like very normal King's Indian. Well, Fischer plays d4 and now Grunfeld. This is Grunfeld defense. Grunfeld defense is one of the most complicated and hard to understand opening, in my opinion, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're sacrificing pawn or just doing something about this pawn to get the huge center. But I really don't understand this opening, because it's very hard to analyze it and very hard to think about it, even though it is one of the most theoretically analyzed positions. It's very hard for me. Queen b3. I think Queen b3 is a normal move, but then just said it's inaccuracy. I must say that Queen b3 is I haven't seen it played by many grandmasters, but you know it is common in these kinds of situations. Playing Queen b3 is just very normal and understandable move here. He takes c4, very normal move. Queen takes c4, pawn goes to c6, pawn goes to e4, and here we get this position. So in this position, you might say that everything is equal, and you're right. There is no imbalance in the position. Knight b to d7 is a very normal move. It's 0-0-0. You know, the white has some sort of advantage because he can develop the pieces and he has a major center here. But black also has developed pieces, and they can strike into the center with move e4 if he plays it correctly. Knight b6, attacking the queen. Queen goes to c5, and now bishop g4 played by Fischer, very good move. And now one of the most interesting moves that I've seen in the history of chess, bishop g5. So bishop g5 in this position is complete, absolute blunder. It doesn't end the game. It doesn't end the game by any sort of imagination, because that is a very bad move. You might say, like, I can play rook e8 here, but if you play rook e8, evaluation says your advantage is gone. So in this position, there is only one move, one absolutely amazing move that cannot be seen by anyone in this position that gives black advantage. And this move is knight a4, sacrificing the knight for nothing. Because if you take the knight here with your knight, knight takes e4, now bishop takes e7, rook e8, bishop takes queen, and knight c5 check just wins the game for Fischer, because you're gonna get your knight back and your bishop is here. This one knight a4 move ended the whole game for Byrne, I have to say, but there is still game to play for Fischer. Okay, let's go back at this move. This move is just amazing. Like, I have to say, you can't really have words for it because it's amazing. Now, one of the only moves that can keep the game going for Byrne is Queen a3, and he finds that move, which is very nice because he's a very strong player. Byrne is very strong, and he had some of the very good games against many of the great American chess players at the time. Now knight takes c3 by Fischer, pawn takes, and now pawn takes on e4. So Fischer won the pawn here, but isn't really game over by any stretch of the imagination. Bishop takes c7. You might think this is a fork of the queen and the rook here, but after queen goes to b6, you can't really take this because after bishop takes f8, you're attacked by this bishop, and when you move anywhere, rook e8 is just coming. Let's say you come here, rook e8 just wins the game, still position. No matter what you do, you're gonna lose this game. Okay, so that doesn't work. After the pawn takes bishop queen b6, now the best move played by Bayern is bishop to c4. Well, what is happening here? Like, the position is very interesting. The black has 1 point. It is -1 for black, but there's only one move in this position that keeps advantage going, and that move is knight takes c3, sacrificing another knight. But why can't you take here? It's just a question that is here. Why can't you take? And you suggest that rook fe8 pins this bishop here, and no matter what your opponent does, you're going to lose this bishop, but the material is equal, and Fischer has a 1 pawn advantage. So that knight sacrifice is just having Fischer more ability to attack this bishop. Okay, but what does the Bayern play here? Well, he plays bishop c5, which is another great move. Then the rook comes to e8, he gives a check, king f1, and here, as player, I think that queen is under attack here. Well, I have to move the queen, or just play queen c7. I would have played queen c7, but then it just says that you're just dead lost here. Even in this position, there is one singular move. There's no other move. One singular move that keeps the game going. One move only. One move only. And Fischer finds this move. Bishop e6. Sacrificing the queen. If this is the game of the century, bishop e6 must be the counter of the century. If you take the queen, bishop takes c4 check, king g1, knight e2 check, king f1, knight takes d4 check, king g1, knight e2 check, king f1, knight c3 check, king g1, a takes b6 is happening at the same time. And this happened in the game. All of those sequences, by bishop takes g6 here, and a takes b6 happens. Fischer has -5 point advantage by the move that is so ridiculous that only 400s play this move. When your queen is under attack and you play bishop e6, you think that you are an idiot, but actually you're one of the greatest chess players of all time. So I'm getting to this position. Queen is under attack. Queen b4, rook a4, queen takes b6. What's going on here? Knight takes d1. Fischer has 3 point advantage. h3. Rook takes a2. King goes to h2. Now pawn takes f takes d takes f2 by knight. Rook comes here. Takes. No, not takes. The Bayern gives a check here, but it really doesn't matter. Bishop blocks. Knight takes rook, and now bishop comes to d5. Knight f3. Knight e4. Queen b3. Queen b8. Sorry. b5. h4. h5. Knight to e5, and here, very important, king g7 move. It's very important. Even though the black is up many points of material, the queen is still here, so it's very hard to do it. King g1, queen c5 check, queen f1, knight g3 check, and this is just going to be amazing game by Fischer. Queen e1, king e1, bishop b4 check, king d1, bishop b3 check, king c1, knight e2 check, and after king b1, knight c3 check, king c1, and in this position, the amazing Bobby Fischer with his 3 brilliant sacrifices and 3 brilliant moves and many other great moves in this position plays rook c2, checkmate, and ends the game of the century. This was amazing. Like, whole sequence with that started with knight a4 here, that continued by white's absolute destruction by black with knight takes c3 check here, and this move is just one of my favorites. In this position, after this check and king f1, I would never think of a move like bishop to e6. How can you think of that move? This is just amazing. This is the one in every situation, in every brilliant move. There's only one move that kept the game going for black. Other than that, he was going to lose this game. And that it was all advantages for white. And Fischer found all of it. Fischer played this game for in 95.9 accuracy, which is 96% accuracy. Bishop e6, this finding seals the game where in this position the game is over. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.